Hi all, good morning. Hope you are doing well. Today we are going to learn one more interesting and important topic that is okay, many people have a confusion between like document object model and browser object model like that, and window object and a document object and a normal object. And in few instances people are saying used to say that in JavaScript, almost everything is an object. So, what is the meaning of that statement? Is it really everything in JavaScript is object, or the sentence is that almost that means 80% or 90% of the things are objects only. Let's discuss on that, and we will get some clarity on uh, what is a window and what is a document and what is a browser object model, what is a document object model, and again, how many things are objects in JavaScript. Okay, so if you see whatever, if you just create an HTML file and if you open that HTML file in a browser, just right click and go on inspect, go to the sources. Okay, initially you can't see anything in here, right? Anything here, just to put a breakpoint so that you will understand. Of course, normally once JavaScript engine complete the execution, it will remove everything in the call stack and all those things. That's why you can't able to see here. But if you start debugging, so that because you can pause the execution phase and you can understand what is there inside the memory. So here clearly you are able to see some in the call stack global execution context. Okay, that is call stack means it's a stack, and inside of that we are pushing something. Okay, and we are allocating some memory to execute, which is the things which are in a global scope. Okay, don't worry, we are going to learn scope and all those things in coming days. But now, what already we discussed that it will create a big object called window. Okay, so I will just draw in a paint also so that you will get some clarity. So if you see this is a JavaScript runtime environment, right? What we have discussed. Okay, inside of the browser we have a JavaScript runtime environment. It has, of course, JavaScript environment has two things. One is a browser API. What is this? This is called browser API. Okay, this is not JavaScript API. This is a browser. That means the things which are there in this section is under control of the browser. Okay, remember that point. The browser API, and here we have a event loop and callback queue and micro task queue. We just mentioned those things. And here this is JavaScript engine. This is JavaScript engine. In the JavaScript inside the JavaScript engine, we have a call stack and we have a memory stack and we have heap memory and we are taking care of JIT compiler. Okay, this is a JIT compiler, the compilation. So this is JIT compiler. So here this is a call stack. What you are able to see in the browser. So if you see this is the call stack. The name of that is anonymous because we that is it doesn't have a name. That's why it is showing anonymous. But it is a global execution context. So if you see whenever you give any document to the browser, if you have a JavaScript logic, automatically it will create a global execution context. So I'm just giving some color to that. This is the global execution context. So this is I'm just mentioning the name of this. Already we know, but I'm just refreshing all the knowledge. Global execution context. So observe carefully. Here we used to say that it will create an object inside of that. It has an object inside of this global execution context. This object name is window. What is the name of this object? The name of this object, I'm just putting the arrow mark from the curly brace. The object name is a window object. So object means it has properties and methods. So if you see, are you able to see the same thing in a browser? If you see the global, expand it, you have lots of methods and properties, and the name of that object is window. Name of that object is window. Okay, where is the document? So we are talking about a window object. Okay, right now we know at least where is window object. And next, most important is another object called document. Document, where it is means this document is a part of window object. Document is a part of window object. So already I told you inside the object you can store string as a key value pair and number as a key value pair, array as a key value pair, and the function also key value pair. And even if you want to store, you can store another object also as a key value pair in the same in a similar way. Observe carefully, just scroll down, definitely you will find a very big object called document. So this document is again another very big object. So what is the purpose of this document and what is the purpose of that window object, we are going to discuss. So here that means inside, suppose if you see this is the root object for us. Okay, we have some child object inside of that window, that is called document. Okay, lot of methods and properties are there window, and document is a part of window object. So here another one is, so far we have learned so far we have learned HTML, right? So far we have learned HTML, so that how can you can design a web page, and CSS just make that HTML page much more beautiful. And we have learned Bootstrap. It will make it will help developers to develop like add styles and the layouts quickly. So at the end of the day, this is a CSS only. Bootstrap is a CSS only. So CSS it just adds a colors only and colors, layouts, some other stuff. But we discussed that JavaScript was created to help HTML page dynamic. This HTML page should be this HTML page should be dynamic. So what does it mean? What does it mean? So we should able to suppose if in the HTML page dynamic means just go open any kind of Google sign in or any sign in page. So you know, right? So it will ask um, if you need to enter user ID password and if you need to click on a button. That means if you click on a button, it will take some action. Suppose um, the Google sign in, go for Google sign in. So it is asking us some user ID, and if you click on this button, it is doing some action. It is doing some action. This is also a dynamic nature. And if you give a valid, if you don't give a valid user ID, it will throw an error. Suppose I'm just giving some valid user ID according to the syntax. So Still it is saying could not find your Google account. This is not a valid ID, so I can do that. Raghavan 421. So just click on next. Okay, it's it's a valid one, and you need to enter the password. If you click on next button, then that is the dynamic nature. Dynamic nature. So that's why we have created a the sub Brendan Ick has created a JavaScript. So far we have learned HTML separately, and we have learned the JavaScript also separately. Means of course we just added a script file inside the HTML file, but till now we didn't interact with the HTML page. So what we are doing every time, we are displaying information in the console.log. Okay, that means we are not interacting with the HTML page. Now from today onwards we are going to display information on the web page. We can change this text, we can change the background color of this text, we can create HTML elements dynamically, we can do anything with the help of JavaScript. So to do that, to interact with the HTML page from a JavaScript, so this JavaScript runtime environment is giving two things that is very important. So what it is, you need to interact. Of course, I will write in a different way. Suppose this is the HTML file. This is the HTML file. Okay, you just open this HTML file inside the browser. Inside the browser. So inside the browser, you have a JavaScript runtime environment. Suppose I'm just drawing in a different way. JavaScript runtime environment. Observe carefully, this is very important. This is JavaScript runtime environment. Suppose even if you have a confusion, just go with the your favorite box. This is a JavaScript runtime environment. Inside of that, we have two things. Whatever we have discussed, that this is a web API, event loop, and call stack, everything. So this is a HTML page. This is the HTML page. You open in a browser, and here this is a JavaScript engine. Here we have a JavaScript engine, and this JavaScript engine should able to interact with the web page. Suppose you have designed like this, text box, and you have put a button. So if you click on this button, automatically we should able to interact, read. We should be able to read HTML document information, how what you have entered. Suppose user ID. Okay, user ID. So JavaScript is should able to read this value, and if you enter some password, okay, and JavaScript engine should able to read this user ID and password. So we need to have some interaction, we need to have some connectivity between this HTML page and the JavaScript runtime environment. For that, it has created two things. JavaScript runtime environment is providing two things. That is, those two objects are window and the document. Okay, this window represents the browser. What it is? Window represents browser. Document represents our HTML file. So our HTML file. So maybe you will get a question. Raghu, we are creating a HTML file, so that we need to take care of only HTML document. Why we need to create another object called window? Why we need to interact with the browser? So there are lots of things, because if you see this browser API is there. So if you want to interact with the browser API, you need to have a window. It's because here you will push a timers. We can discuss later. Okay, bro. Okay, timers. Those timers we can create with the help of window object. These timers are part of a browser. These timers are not part of this JavaScript engine. So that we have lots of things. Browser, I told you that already. Browser is the most powerful thing created by human beings. So browser is providing lots of feature internally. Browser has some extra memory also separately. Like you can store information in a cookies and local storage and session storage. So browser is providing some extra memory, okay, apart from this memory. You can store some information as a cookies local storage. Of course, if you are watching this first time, you don't know this what is cookie and what is local storage and what is session storage, but we are going to learn everything. So you already some students definitely know about this, so that it will be easy for them to understand. So not only these three things, lots of features is provided by the browser. That's why all the methods and properties, of course, just remember window is just an object, document is also object. Window has some key value pairs, some properties and some methods. So similar, suppose if this is a window object, this is the property, this is the method. In a similar way, he has provided hundreds of methods and properties to deal with, to interact with. So if you see player one dot get full name, so that it will take some action. If you see player one dot first name, it will give some results. In the same way, just browser is providing a the window object to interact with the browser. Similarly, inside the window object, we have similar kind of document. In this document also, we have lots of key value pairs, sort of methods are there, so that we can, with the help of this object, we can interact with our web page. Suppose if you want to store some information in the cookie, if you want to store some information in the local storage, you need to take help of window. If you want to set some timers, you need to take help of window object. That is called browser object model. Just remember this, what it is: browser object model. Whenever you are dealing with a window object directly, if you are using properties or methods of window object, that is called browser object model. And suppose if you have a HTML file like this, so you want to read this user information of the text box and content of the text box. For that, you are going to do like coding, like the JavaScript document dot get element by ID, something. Okay, that's what we are going to learn. Don't worry if you are completely new. So dot get element by ID. So we can interact with this particular HTML document, the text boxes and buttons, the styles, layout, whatever it is. So if you are dealing with that, then we can call that is a document object model. So I will draw one more diagram for you. So here if you see, I'm just putting window. If you are dealing directly with the window object, we can call it as browser object model. Simple. Okay, this window has lots of properties and methods. Every object in the world, properties or methods. And here, of course, document is a part of window object only, but it is also a very big object. So if you deal directly with properties and methods of this document object, okay, if you use anything anywhere in your program, then we can call it as a document object model. That is simple definition. Document object model means you are going to utilize the power of document object and browser object model. Means if you are able to interact with the window object directly, then it is called a browser object model. So if you see the whole HTML document, suppose HTML document has the structure, right? HTML, inside of that head, okay, inside of that head you have a body. Okay, this is a structure. This is a structure. So HTML page, and this is the head. So that some logical structure is there, right? The body. Inside the body, inside the head, you have meta tag or a title tag. Okay. So you have some title. I'm explaining all these things because at least you have some knowledge in HTML. So title and suppose meta, I didn't explain to you, but there is another tag called meta. So these two are children of this head, right? Children of this head. Children of this head. In the body, if you just create another div like this. Okay, just a minute. So div is a children. Inside of that, if you put a text box, okay, one text box is there, another text box is there, and even another button is there. So what will happen in this HTML also have a logical structure. So this JavaScript engine will create an object exactly a replica of that HTML structure, and it will give it to us through the document object. So you can read what is the content at text box. You can read what is the content of with this text box. All those things. Okay, those things we are going to learn. Don't worry, I will teach you those things now. So that is there are two things. One is document object model. Another one is a browser object model. Okay, so let's do a simple program about document object model and the browser object model. So if you see, I'm just removing, nothing is there. So nothing is there. Even if you have written some simple one line code console.log hello, nothing is there. Nothing. We didn't implement any functions or objects or something. Refresh, right click, inspect, go to the sources. So just debug this. So you have a object called window. It is providing everything. It doesn't think that whether you have written one line of code or 10 lines of code or 1,000 files of code. So what if you just use it, if you just try to use a JavaScript, it will create this window object for you. Inside of that, we have a document object also. So first, let's deal with a browser object model. Okay, if anything, any properties are useful for us. Let's see. Mm, alert. Okay, alert is there. Alert. So you can write alert. So if you see, I told you this console is a part of window. That means window.console.log. Already we are interacting with the properties and methods of a window object. This is the browser object model directly. Browser object model. That's it. And alert. What you can do? Window dot alert, and you can put some information so that it will display alert. Hello, I'm alert. This is very simple because you are directly utilizing the properties and methods of a window object. That's why you can call this is the browser object model. Very simple. So if you see, just refresh your file, you will get the alert also. Alert. So if you see, you got it. So that means you are utilizing the power of window. So let's see what are the other important things are there in the browser. So slowly one by one we can understand. But if anything crazy, So we can check in mm, W3 schools so that you will get some window in JavaScript W3 schools, because W3 schools is simplest one to understand as a beginner. Okay, just go to window object. So this window object is provides lots of things, but let me see, returns the location object of the window. Okay, let's see name. Okay, is saying that we have some name for that window. Let's see what it will return. And the parent returns the parent window of the current window, and the screen next, scroll next, self stop. I think lots of things are there, but I'm just trying to find interesting one. Focus, frames, history, inner height, inner width. So if you see inner height, inner width, what is the screen size, or the tab size, parent print resize. Actually, I've seen some interesting things. Okay, let's see. We can see the name. Okay, I'm writing console.log window dot name. Just what is the name of that window? Save it, because I'm just stopping the alert because it will give some disturbance in the middle. So just go to the console, sources, remove, showing any error. Oh, it doesn't display anything. Which is easiest one? Of course, we can put some set timers and all those things, but I don't want to go with complex ones. So it's saying length. Let's see what it will return. Length means window dot length returns the number of framed windows in the window. Okay, something. Okay, number of iframes. Okay, I didn't explain you what is iframe, but of course, if you give a window dot length, at least it will give some number, either 0 or 1. So what it will do, it will calculate. So how many, suppose you can divide a screen through iframes, because that is a different concept. So how many iframes you have used in your web page? Let me try. Suppose right now it is returning 0, right? In the body, if I create iframe like this, I'm just creating another iframe. I'm not sure whether exactly it is dealing with this. Just refresh. If that is the case, yeah, fantastic. So if you see, you have two iframes. That's why it is automatically calculated how many iframes are there in your this HTML document. So you got two. So if you add one more iframe. So I will explain what is iframe later. Don't worry. So we see that the count is 3, so that you can interact with the browser. Though that means browser will understand. So just so don't try to read all the things in a browser object model. Slowly we can learn one by one, but you should understand that, okay, we can interact with the browser. Okay, so local storage is there. So local storage, so that what you can do, you can store some information. So if you see, you can store some information in the local storage, and you can see that information also. Okay, what I'm doing in the logic, in the logic I'm writing. So local storage set item. Of course, if you are not, even if you mention window.console.log, or not, doesn't matter. It will take window dot console log only internally. So like this here also window dot local storage dot set item, but we don't need to mention window every time, because if you don't mention, by default it will refer to the browser object model. So local storage dot set item last name Smith. So here we can change anything like a messy. Okay, let's see. So just refresh, refresh. So the file has executed, the JavaScript file has executed, but where is that local storage? So I told you that browser is very powerful, right? So if you see in the sources, we will see call stack and the scope, but the local storage you can't find here. So here it is providing lots of tabs. Just go to memory. 1 minute. Application. Here, if you see, there is a section called local storage, session storage, indexed DB. So it means it's kind, you can create a small database also inside the browser. WebASIC, a lot of things are there, but right now, don't worry. Cache is there, back, forward cache, lots of information is there. Just the browser is most powerful thing. If you see notifications, payment handler, push messaging, reporting API, background fetch, background sync. Okay, a lot of things are there. Don't worry. So right now, without understanding what is local storage, we just push one information. So it should display some information as a message. Where is that? Okay, it should display. It will store definitely, but where it is storing. So you can find that one like local storage dot get item, but even I forgot to how to read that value. The set item you did it. mm, get item. That's why you need to practice, otherwise we will forget the small syntax also. Yeah, get item. So if you see local storage get item, so in the browser right now I'm just trying to, so it should return a message. So it is stored in, actually we can see that information in a local storage somewhere. Okay, just scroll down, of course, 'cause scroll bar is there. Now if you see messy, so I didn't scroll, that's why it's not visible. So you can store it. So if you want, you can store another one, your name. Suppose I'm giving as a user, like login login user. So if login user is your name, like Adya, okay. So just refresh the browser. Definitely, you can see login user detail is Adya. So with the help of JavaScript itself, you can store some information in the local storage and you can delete some information in the local storage. In the same way, session storage is there. There is a small difference between the session storage and local storage and all other storage information like cookie session, all these things. We are going to learn one by one in the coming days. So this is called a browser object model. That means you are interacting, you are utilizing the features and powers of a window object, that is called browser object model. Now we are going to enter into the most important topic, that is called document object model. So just let me know, are able to understand something or not? Just give me a confirmation. Understood or not? So let's see if anyone is there in the live. So team, if you understand, just ping me
Are
that
able to
understood.
understand.
Or if you have any question, definitely you can ask me. I will explain in the end. Okay, or there in the Microsoft Teams, just let me know understood or not. Okay. What about Bhavita and Srijan? Understood? Okay. Simple. So right now, what we need to do, we need to interact with the document object model, right? So let me clear all things. So right now, this is simple thing. Right now we have a h1 tag, right? H1 tag. And if you want to change this text with the help of JavaScript, what I'm talking already, if you just load this page, you will see welcome to JavaScript world. Okay, and if you right click and inspect, you can see what is the HTML structure. HTML head and body, it has one h1 tag. So I want to change the text of this h1 tag with the help of JavaScript. So if you want to do that, you need to take help of document object model, because all the information related to your document, your HTML document, is available inside the document object. This document object is inside the window object. Let's see. First, we can see one important thing. So if you want to read, so just give a ID, because you should give a unique idea to recognize that element. So here again, the my h. So here, the simple thing, if you want to read, so document dot get element by ID. So this is the method. If you provide ID of that HTML element. So here the h1 tag, I'm just providing the ID, and dot the text what you have written, that is another property. So don't worry, inner HTML. So document means your HTML document, get element by ID. You have given my h, that's why it will go and it will find this HTML element. So suppose if you have a multiple h1 tags, it's easy if you do practice, otherwise no. Okay, this is we have another. So I want to read this one only. Otherwise I want to change this one. So here, if you want to change the inner HTML, so in this text, so here I'm writing document object model. So I'm writing welcome to document object model. That's it. So what it will do, once the page is loaded, after that it will execute JavaScript, right? At the time, it will go and find where is this my h. With the help of this ID, it will find out that HTML element and it will replace this. This is the property. Suppose h1, this information is a property of inner HTML. So whenever JavaScript is creating a document object inside the browser, so it will store welcome to JavaScript H world information as a property of that h1 element. So right now, don't think too much. Simple. Do document.get element by ID. It will go and reach this document, and if you do inner HTML, and it will replace your content. That's simple. So this is as simple. Suppose var a, initially var a is equal to 10, or var a is equal to some string, right? Some string, some string. So in the next line, if you do a equal to hello, then what will happen? It will override this welcome to JavaScript world information with hello. That's what we know, right? This is also same. So here also it is going to change the value of this inner HTML from welcome to JavaScript world to it's easy, sorry, welcome to document object model. So how it is happening internally? Yes, we need to spend some more time to understand, but this is just introduction to the document object model. So just refresh your page. Let's see whether it is working or not. It's boom, right? It's working. So far, I think from last 20 days, we are just learning JavaScript and we didn't touch the HTML document with the help of JavaScript. This is the first day we are going to interact with the HTML page from JavaScript. That is the purpose of JavaScript. You can change the background color, you can change the text color, you can change the font size, you can change the position of that header to from top to the bottom, or you can delete this item, or you can create another HTML element dynamically. Anything you can do. So this is providing, we are going to deal with document. Of course, this document is a part of window only. So window.document.get element by ID. So indirectly, so I said if you are dealing with the window.alert, that is a window.alert. What I told you, this is comes under, we can call it as a browser object model, and window.document. Okay, in some sense you can say that this is also browser object model, but especially inside the browser object model, this is the most important part, that is a document. That's why if you are interacting with this document which is there inside the window, so we can call that is a document object model. That's it, nothing more than the document object model. Because here it is clearly saying that your HTML document is available in the form of a doc object. Your browser information is available in the form of object. That's why this is browser object model. This is document object model. That means object, because whole important information about your browser JavaScript runtime environment is created a big object with methods and properties to deal with a window. We can call it as a browser object model, and here it is a document object model. So this is the first example. We have written that we can interact with the HTML file directly, right? And I will give you one more simple thing. Suppose if you want, every time we are writing console.log, right? So you can directly write something on a web page like this. Hello, how are you? Okay, document dot write in ln. Let's see what will happen. It will take a next line. So I will do practice. So if you see what will happen, refresh. So alert is there. Hello, how are you? I will do practice. Okay, right now you can suppose if you have a variable, if you declare a variable var a equal to 10, var b is equal to 20. So if you want to display that information instead of console.log, here you can say sum of a comma b. You can mention, so even if you want to store in a separate variable where c is equal to a plus b, here you can say value c. Refresh. Boom. You will get sum of a comma b is 30, right? You are able to see. Are you able to see here? So if you use right line, what will happen? Observe it. So at least it will give some space here. But actually, I'm expecting it should come in the next line. But normally we don't use this thing document.write or document.write line. But initially, yes, you can do learn this thing. After that, we can understand what is the importance of this write and write line and why we are not going to use this. Everything we are going to learn. So finally, I hope you guys understood what is a document object model and what is a browser object model. And I told you one more statement, that is, in JavaScript, almost everything is a object. Okay, what is that statement? Almost means 90% or 95%. Everything is an object. Suppose if you see you have a HTML file, just just JavaScript and time environment is convert, like it is creating an object exactly replica to your HTML file and it is providing to us. In the same way, it is creating a big object replica of a browser in the form of window object. Okay, already we know how to create objects ourselves, and already you know that data type for array. What is the data type of array? Can anyone tell me what is a data type of an array? Okay, if you forgot, go back and learn and recollect and come back and join tomorrow. Yes, that is object. So if you create an object, that is an object. Even if you create an array, it is an object. Even if you create a function, indirectly it is also object. All non-primitives are objects. And let's see, I will give one more surprise here. So we know that, and we can continue the discussion for tomorrow. So what it is, I'm creating simple thing where user name equal to Swami Vivekananda. Okay, this is a string, right? This is a string. But if you see, if I do console.log username dot length, what it is? Username dot length in the console, it is giving the length of Swami and the string is 17. Okay, if you give a other name SVGIE, refresh, it is giving 5. So string is a primitive, right? String is a primitive. So but how can we deal with the property of that? And one more thing, this is a property, right? Like an object. Array dot length, you will, that's no surprise because it's an object. But this is a string, this is a primitive. How it is giving proper value for username dot length? Again, I will do one more thing. Console dot log username dot to uppercase. This is the method, right? This is a method. If you are just invoking something, it's a method. So here, if you see, it's clearly it's a method. Refresh. It is giving in a uppercase, right? So if you see, I've just mentioned. Okay, already it's in uppercase. Let me save in the lowercase and refresh. So boom, it is giving in uppercase. That means how it is possible? Because this is a primitive. This is a primitive. This is a primitive. This is a normal string. It is not an object. We don't create like this where username equal to here like first name is some name SVGIE. If we give length as a property, suppose some calculation or something like 10 or something, Okay, then what will happen if you call username dot length? It will give 10. But this is a string, right? This is a pure string. But how it is possible to do username dot length, username dot uppercase, splice, lot of methods we can apply on this. So that is the beauty of JavaScript. That's where many people, many developers into a confusion. They will enter into the confusion because JavaScript is different from any programming language in the world because JavaScript is designed for a browser. So that in that situation, he has designed completely in a different way. So that you should learn JavaScript as a separate programming language. You should not mix your knowledge with other programming languages because you can't do this in any other programming language. If you just store some information as a string and if you put string dot length, it's not possible. You should write a for loop, a lot of things you need to do. You can't do this. And to uppercase, you should write a logic. But JavaScript is providing a methods and properties even for strings also. But how it is possible? So that's why if you see this is a string, right? Again, where age is equal to 25 something. So this age is a number, right? Age is a number. So console.log, even this age, even it is a number, it has some methods. So if it's value of to string, to precision, to local string, to fixed, to exponential. So for that, for example, I'm just taking the salary. Suppose your salary is 25,000 dot 830 some paisa. So here what you can do, this a salary dot to fixed to two positions. That means I don't want to see this much big a number after dot, so it will fix it to the closest number. So it will display 79 instead of taking that. So how these all things are happening inside the browser? How all things are happening inside the browser? If you see, it will remove remaining things and it will cut up to 78. That means this is a proof, right? String is also indirectly behaving like an object, and number is also indirectly behaving like an object. So of course, that doesn't mean everything is an object in JavaScript. We can't say that statement that everything is in. So we can say that almost everything is in JavaScript as an object. But how it is happening right now, don't worry because if you start learning that one, you will get into the confusion. But only thing is you need to understand how to use this string methods and string properties and number methods and number properties, even functions also have, but main important we should focus on array methods and all those things. So tomorrow I will discuss about this topic again, and we are going to learn super important things that are array methods. So I'm just giving training only 1 hour per day, and if you don't have a time to practice on these things in remaining 23 hours, I can't do anything. So you know, right? If you want to succeed, of course it's not easy anything. So you should do hard work, smart work, whatever the work. So I will help you up to my extent. And of course, if you have any questions, just ping me in the chat, ping me in the WhatsApp group, or ping me in the YouTube live, wherever it is. I will definitely answer on it. Okay, tomorrow we are going to learn few more basics in document object model from Monday. From Monday, we are going to do projects with the help of HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap and JavaScript. So get ready, even who are there in the live. Bye bye.